All right, section 3.6 deals with inverse trigonometric functions. And I just want to caution you, a lot of times, kind of like when we have just f inverse, when we see that notation, so when we see like f to the negative 1 of x, we've discussed several times in this class that that does not mean 1 over f of x. And this is the exact same idea. Sine to the negative 1 does not mean 1 over sine. So don't confuse those. Oftentimes you see on your calculator, you see the same notation. It's just a shorthand for writing the same thing, like sine to the negative 1, another name for that is arc sine. And I hope that you guys have seen that at some point. Because that's really, that's what we typically call it, but we have that shorthand for sine to the negative 1. All right, so derivatives, these derivatives are just something I'm going to ask you guys to memorize. But if you notice, they're actually very, there's a lot going on here that's similar, so it's not that difficult to memorize. So on this one, on arc sine, it's 1 over the square root of 1 minus x squared. Arc cosine is just the negative, the opposite of that exact same thing. And then tangent, arc tangent, is 1 over 1 plus x squared. So again, you're going to have to spend just a little bit of time memorizing these, and then I'm going to show you how we use them. So let's go to this first example. All right, in this first example, it looks like we have two different functions being multiplied together. We have this x and we have this arc tangent square root of x. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do the product rule. And I'm going to go ahead and do our little chart there, the little diagram that we've been using. So f is x, f prime is 1, and then we have g is arc tangent square root of x, but we have a problem with g prime. If you go back up here and you look at this, it says arc tangent of x. So since this has a square root of x, I realize that we've got to use the chain rule in order to find this because it's not just arc tangent of x. So I'm going to go off to the side here and I'm going to do the chain rule. So the outside function is arc tangent of u, and u is equal to the square root of x. The outside's derivative, if we just look at what we have from above, we know that the outside's derivative is going to be 1 over 1 plus u squared. But now u is not u. We want it in terms of x. So it's going to be 1 over 1 plus square root of x squared, and that actually simplifies to 1 over 1 plus x. All right, so that's the outside function's derivative. Now let's go do the inside function's derivative. And we have learned from doing this over and over and over again that the square root of x, that derivative is just 1 over 2 square roots of x. All right, we need to multiply those two things together. And so when we multiply these two things together, we get a final answer of 1 over, if we distribute that 2 square roots of x, it'd be 2 square roots of x plus 2x square roots of x. If we distribute that to the bottom there. All right, so we go over here and we write that down for our g prime. That's 1 over 2 square roots of x plus 2x square roots of x. All right, now to finish our product rule, we're just going to take f prime times g plus g prime times f. So we have f prime, the final derivative of the function will be 1 times arc tangent square roots of x plus x over 2 square roots of x plus 2x square roots of x. All right, and that's our final answer.